What's up, guys? It is Chris back with another watch video, and today we are taking a look at the Ball Roadmaster M Challenger 18. This is a 200-meter dive watch from Ball, and it comes on this stainless steel bracelet. This has the black dial and 40mm case. It came in a few different variants, and it was a limited edition of 1,000 per variant. So this is a limited edition of 1,000 pieces. This was the first Roadmaster and one of the first Ball watches to have their in-house movement, which you can see through the sapphire crystal case back. It is a very good looking movement, I think. This one has 80 hours of power reserve, which obviously I believe they are definitely aiming to take take cue from ETA and their Powermatic 80. 80 hours of power reserve is a lot of power reserve to pack into a movement, and that's really good. So they definitely are looking at ETA and trying to mimic what they're doing. Most Ball watches prior to this used ETA movements, and so this is their movement into in-house. So like I said, 40mm. This also came in 43mm with a blue dial and blue bezel, or a blue dial and black bezel. 40mm and 43mm. This watch actually wears pretty well, I would say. I'm going to go through some of the things I really like about this watch, and some of the things I just think is okay, and then some of the things I think can be improved. So right off the bat, 40mm, I think it's a great size. I really like the integration of the actual bracelet into the case. I really like the bracelet a lot. It's very different. It's sort of like an oyster-esque bracelet. However, it is concaved, where the center links are sort of concaved and not flat. So it gives it a lot of dimension. It looks really good. I like the setup of the dial. It is very simple. It looks really good. There is some micro sort of measurements here at the bottom. That's for timing. At least that's what I could find out about why there is that extra little micro adjustments there at the bottom. I like the blue details, the blue in the script here, and the blue lollipop sort of hand. And I really like the Cyclops. The Cyclops, which is on the outside of the crystal, really magnifies very, very well, just like a Rolex, I would say. You have a screw-down crown. Like I said, this is 200 meters water resistant. And I really like the in-house movement. I like the bracelet. I like the clasp. The clasp is really nice. In general, I think this is a really, really nice watch. And I really think for the price, this is something that really can't be beat. $1,000 in-house movement, all stainless steel construction, 200 meters water resistant, made in Switzerland, screw down crown, you have a Cyclops. It is definitely a style of watch. It is not out there. It's definitely a conservative looking watch, except for the bracelet, which I think is pretty cool. What I think is just okay about the watch, I think that the diver's extension is just okay. Actually, I would say it's probably something I don't like about this watch. I wouldn't have put a diver's extension on this watch at all. There's really not much micro adjust. There's only 3 little micro adjusts, and the reason why there's only 3 is because they had to fit that diver's extension underneath, and it doesn't make any sense. I think it's just kind of useless in my opinion. I think that the bezel is just okay. The bezel action is nice. However, there is actual play in the bezel, and I think a watch of this caliber, even at this price, it definitely should not have play in the bezel. It does sound good. it's 120 click bezel. However, I find it strange that there is play in the bezel. This is a metal insert. It is not ceramic. Again, that is fine. I think it looks really good, and if it was ceramic, it would look the same. However, this probably will not last as long because it is ceramic. It is not ceramic. What I don't like about the watch, I don't like the way the bracelet falls down from the case. As you can see, the lugs are actually very long and go straight out. And then there's this addition from this lug, from the actual end link, which is a nice milled end link, but it adds to the end of the lug, so the profile looks kind of strange. I like the space in between the bezel and the case, but that does add, some thickness. I don't mind all of that. I do mind this little extra. I don't understand why they would do that. They could have integrated it differently, perhaps. I don't know. But when you're wearing it on your wrist, it actually, if you have a small wrist, this is a 40 millimeter watch. I would say this would be hard to wear on a smaller wrist. I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and it goes to the edges of my wrist, as you can see, because of the style of bracelet and the actual style of lugs. So that is something I would say I don't like. I don't like that extension, diver's extension, and I also don't like that there are pins. And I think that future iterations of this watch, actually, I believe they've already done. They've already put in screwed links, so that's just for this watch. However, it is something that it would be nice. I really like the idea of the tritium tubes, and that is something that is somewhat of a claim to fame for Ball. However, in practice, it is not as good as LumiNova, LumiBrite, ChromaBrite, any of these other painted-on alternatives. This does have a Super-LumiNova bezel, so all the indices on the bezel are painted in Super-LumiNova. However, the pip is in a combination of Super-LumiNova and a tritium tube, and then the rest of the dial is in tritium tubes. There are tritium tubes also on the hands. Now, tritium is really, really good. It does last a very long time. Obviously, I believe it lasts for years, and it will stay the same brightness for those years. However, the problem is it is not very bright. So if you buy a micro brand like Borealis, like Zelos, you're getting extremely bright lume. Yes, that lume will fade with time and wear. However, it is bright when you get it, and this is not. So I think that's kind of one of the reasons why they've actually added some Super-LumiNova to a watch like this, and I'll do a lume shot after, towards the end of this video, just so that you guys can see. Overall, I think this is an exceptionally made watch. I think it's a really well-made watch. I paid $1,000 for this watch, actually just under $1,000. When it was being sold as new, Ball do a pre-order, and when you pre-order the watch, you're getting a discount. So I believe this originally sold for around $1,200 new. So that's a lot of watch for $1,200, especially since you're getting the in-house movement on this. And then they also made these in a different version with the ETA movement, and I think it was like a 2892 or a 2436 or something along those lines, which was really nice, and it was actually cheaper. So a really good value in these watches, absolutely. So what I'll do next is I will shut off the lights and I will show you how this looks in the dark. And like I said, remember there is T25 tritium tubes on the dial and hands, and then the pip, and then the rest is LumiNova. So when we're taking a look at it, you're going to see the difference right off the bat and how bright the LumiNova is going to be compared to the Tritium tubes. Okay, and there you have it. So you could see that the Tritium tubes aren't that bright. This room isn't extremely dark, and you could see that the Super-LumiNova is way brighter than the Tritium tubes. The Tritium tubes are good in complete darkness, but when there is just a little bit of darkness, you can see it's not that bright. Anyway, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. It is much appreciated and very helpful. Please add a comment below. Let me know what you think of ball watches, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of ball watches and what you think of this watch in particular, the Roadmaster. I think it's a pretty cool watch, and you can see here that the LumiNova is already fading, so it's not really a lot of LumiNova that they're applying, but it's a good looking watch, and it's a very versatile watch. Anyway, please leave a comment, like I said. It is much appreciated and very helpful, and thank you for logging on.